My earliest memories of Zelfa being committed to boxing and, me having a disagreement with his mum about, allowing him to be full-time boxer because I took him out of college. I didn't take him out of college. I prevented him from going to college because I knew that boxing's about sacrifices. So I knew that Zelfa wouldn't be able to go college and box as well. He wouldn't be able to have a career. But if I could get him to do one or the other, and I chose him to do this because he pulled me to the side and said, "Pat, I really want to do this boxing." Her thing is she needed a son to have something to fall back on. Do you know what I mean? And that would have been going to college and getting some form of qualification. Because me, I never had fuck all me.
So how difficult was the conversation with Sonia?
Very difficult. We didn't speak for 9 months. You know what I mean? That's how difficult it was because she said that I didn't have the right to tell Zelfa that he couldn't go to college, which she was right. But I just believed in him. The first thing I said to my sister was, "Look, Sonia, I didn't have no qualifications and look what I did in boxing." Yeah. But I was able to devote my life to what I wanted to do for that time, and I gave it 100%. And look where it got me, and look how far it got me. And I just knew that if Zelfa could do the same thing, that it can be that kind of thing. So this is why me and Zelfa have a mirror image life. It's not that I'm trying to. It's replicated really. It's not like I'm trying to make him like me. Yeah, I just made him do the rightful things. Lyndon had a bad time, just with his brother being killed and not really being able to get over it and dealing with it every so often, his thoughts and his memories of his brother. And one time it just kind of got to him. And then I took him with me living where I was living for a bit, and then I took him into a weights gym, just doing weights. And then that's when I introduced him to Brian. And I'll never forget what Brian Hughes said to me about this kid. He said he reminded me of a light heavyweight from back in the day called Bob Foster. Because Brian was getting him all side on and teaching him how to throw that jab from a side position. And that was the first thing Brian said. It reminded him of Bob Foster. And that was the style that he kind of grew into without me even knowing, like, this Bob Foster style. Because Bob Foster was a light heavyweight and I didn't really follow Bob Foster. Didn't know who he was until Brian said that. I looked him up and I thought, wow, this guy is something different.
You touched on skill then. So I want to go back to Zelfa's skill. Is this something that you created or is it something that you naturally had? Because we all know Zelfa to be a very skillful fighter. He moves around a lot and,
I'd be a liar to say I created it from scratch. I think it was something to what he used to have because I remember his Uncle Mike, when we used to go and train in this gym in Ancoats, there was a boxing gym there. I think it was a Fox boxing gym. And I think Zelfa used to go on the pads a lot with Mike and learn with Mike, just messing about. Till the point, Terry Flanagan was young as well at that time as well before he was world champion. And I think Zelfa and Terry Flanagan used to spar and train together and, little bit. So Zelfa kind of was messing about with boxing from he was young, but never took it serious until the age of 16. He had his first amateur fight and he won it, and that was in at the Irish Centre in Cheetah Mill. And everybody said, "Oh, he boxed brilliant. He boxed really good. You should have seen him. You would have loved it. He was dead this and whatever." And I never got to see it. And when I did come out, I finally got to see a few of Zelfa's amateur fights, and I thought, wow, yeah. And every time we was working on the pad, we would work on techniques and we'd work on styles. Even when as an amateur, I used to find out who he was fighting, and we used to watch who he was fighting. And we used to work on things that we was going to beat him. And Zelfa must have had about 26 amateur fights. And I think he only lost 2. It was mad because he was nearly on the verge of being undefeated as an amateur before he turned pro. And I think what did he do now? I think he got beat in the Northwest, put him in the ABAs, he got beaten them. And I can't remember the other fight that he lost, but I remember him losing it. And they were the only fights that Zelfa really lost. It was absolutely sensational as an amateur. It was classy, it was natural. And that determined from there, when Sonia seen him boxing, we kind of but when he turned pro, that's when I could say, I told you, didn't I? And I was able to put it in her face and say, "Yes, see, look at your son now, I told you." and we was cool again.
The journey from then till now, was it planned? Like from, have you always known that this is the route you're gonna take?
Do you know what? I've always had a plan for Zelfa and Lyndon, and for any boxer for that matter, because I have a plan and they have to follow it. And if they don't follow it and they decide to take a different route, things happen. Because my plan is comes from experience. Experience the likes of what. Use me as an example. I can only talk about what I know. Brian Hughes always had a plan for me from when I turned pro, even though I started my career as a journeyman. He knew that I wouldn't stay long as being a journeyman. It was a plan. I couldn't sell tickets. I didn't have an OABA title, and it was difficult. So the plan was be a journeyman. You'll get the fights. You're a away fighter. You don't have to worry about selling tickets. You just have to turn up and do the business. And throughout them years of doing that, I did it. So looking at what Brian did with me on a positive note, this is why I took out a promoter's license, so I could put on my own events. Yeah. And then give these kids as many fights as possible without saying, look, you're going to have to go on the road to be a journeyman in order to get the experience. I thought, well, allow me to give them that experience. And yeah, it worked. I was able to give them the experience, not make no money in it, give them the experience, get them the fights, keep them busy where they wouldn't be getting no fights, and no matter what that cost was, and I did it.
How difficult is it to separate a coach, a boxing promoter, a manager, to being their uncle?
It's very difficult. It's really difficult, really, to try and separate being family to these kids and being a coach, trainer, and all that bullshit. It's very hard because one, when you first of all you say, right, I'm not family doesn't come in this gym. We're not related. That's what I have to tell myself. And then secondly, I have to act like that. So then the likes of Zelfa and Lyndon don't understand and say, wow, but you're meant to be family. Why are you talking to us like this? Or, wow, why are you treating us like this? You're treating us like, do you know what I mean? Like you don't know us. But it's the best way to be. Outside the ring and outside the gym and on a normal day-to-day basis, we're family. Come round and see me do this. It's a choice. Yeah. But you can't let your emotions get in your way of becoming a coach, because do you really think I could see someone trying to beat down on Zelfa if I was his uncle? I'd feel every punch. Yeah, but as a sports person, as a trainer, I know how to duck and dive every punch, and I know how to block and slip and look for the openings, because I have to think like a fighter and not like an uncle. They're two good kids. You know, I mean, the choice is what they could have gone, the road they could have gone down. They could have been pricks, they could have been dickheads, they could have been doing what we was all doing. But you know what? You've got to take your hat off to them and you've got to admire him, because Lyndon, I remember saying him, take 6 months out of your life and to prove a point to yourself. And he did it. And he went so far in the ABAs, he went to the finals, got beat off Boatse in the finals. Okay? Which was great, considering he's been boxing from when he was 17. Jumped up to elite, fought at the highest of level. Yeah. And done that. It was amazing. Yeah. Same with Zelfa. Choices of life. He could have just said, you know what, I'm going to be like Uncle Pat and do this and do that. But he never. Yeah. He disassociated himself and focused on everything positive in life to be where he is today. Yeah. And that's what's made him fight for the world title. Could have won it. Should have won it. But he can come back and do it again, because there's no shame in it. In his defeat, how he got beat. You know, shit happens. Perpetrated daredrum, lost your balance. Now you can do. You know what I mean? Go away. Come back another day. For me, I'd like Zelfa to, you know, he's not gone that far back. And hopefully he'll get another world title fight. He'll either get the winner of Joe Cordina and Rakhimov. With Lyndon, it's a whole new beginning again. He's had 2 fights back, 2 wins. The last win was a great victory, great stoppage. So, I mean, I think they'll be looking to push Lyndon forward into the new year, 2023, he'll probably get a world title fight. Or he'll get some form of a big fight.